r/AskReddit. Serious people who married their first sexual partner, do you regret it? Why/why not? Nope, 16 years, kids, all that. Being good times and bad, but we grew up together in every sense that matters. Sure, there's curiosity and whatnot, but for every story I read or hear about comparisons and unfaithfulness and once a cheater, fuck am I ever glad I found a keeper right from the start. A little. But then I read about dead bedrooms and bad sex or very little sex in relationships. Me and wife have been together 7 years and still do it 3 to 5 times a week. We are very sexually compatible. I just don't know how long it would take to find a woman that was like her in bed if I had wanted to sleep around. Also, if they were one night stands or Tinder hookups, after a few years it would just be a dull memory and a figurative tally in your sex partner list after being with your partner for so long and having sex with your partner hundreds of times. So yeah, I regret it when I see a woman who is just drop dead gorgeous and imagine getting with her. But just for a minute, and then I go back to reality where I'm happy. Not in the slightest. My wife and I waited until marriage, and I'm very glad we did. I'm so glad that the most intimate of relationships is something that I'll only ever share with her. There is never a comparison, and never a desire to be with anyone else. I really do believe that you share a piece of your soul with someone when you have sex, and those people will always be a part of the most intimate bits of your life. This way though, I've only ever shared that with her. I know others won't feel the same, but it's also so important to me that our relationship wasn't built around sex. She was and is my best friend, and sex only brought us closer together. No regrets at all. Yes and no. I'm so glad we were each other's first. 21 and 22 on our wedding night. I never wonder if he's had better or compares me to previous partners, and we've learned everything about sex with one another. That said, I have a plethora of intimacy issues resulting from my upbringing, childhood sexual abuse, constantly being taught how dirty and awful sex is, grew up in a religious house, etc. My husband has been the best partner through everything, truly wonderful. Sometimes I wonder if I had a harlot phase before him, I could have forced myself to work through stuff, and then our sex lives wouldn't be so vanilla. I don't mind it, and he says he doesn't either, but I worry. He's been great. I know that I can trust him with my heart and body, which is huge. I wish I could give him more spice, but it's not that easy. Been together for 13 years. There is of course always the what if/what's it like. But the risk/reward always tips in favor of having the one trustworthy, clean partner. We've discussed our curiosities and plans on maybe acting on them. In the end we always come to the conclusion that, even if we could guarantee the cleanliness healthiness of another partner, separately we'd want to have the experience with the other person, and in a three-way, we'd be jealous of the person getting the attention. TL. Doctor, don't regret it. It's better to experience/experiment and grow with someone you trust. Absolutely not. I didn't wait Peresi so much as you could call me a late bloomer. I wasn't interested in sex at all until I was older, and even once I was, the idea of having sex with someone kind of sounded awful. My now husband just happened to be the first and only person I've ever been sexually interested in. It was worth waiting for, because we are both high libido people and incredibly compatible. A decade down the line we are married, and still highly satisfied. I definitely realize how lucky I was. I was talking last night with a friend of mine who recently broke up with her boyfriend of 1 year. She's currently dating 2 guys and they are all presumably non-exclusive for now. She's going to date both of them for a while before choosing one, which includes sleeping with both of them, because sexual compatibility is important before she commits. In every respect I think this is a really sensible and healthy way to approach new relationships. But as a guy who never got more than a hand job from another girl before meeting the woman who'd later become my wife, it blows my mind that she can not only date, but have sex with 2 completely different people. Maybe it's just because I never had the option, because it sounds great on paper, but I feel like I'm her situation. I'd probably be trying to pick which person I wanted to be with before making the decision to sleep with one of them, and if the sexual compatibility wasn't there I'd just have to deal with that decision later on. I don't regret marrying the first woman I had sex with. We are generally great together, and I've never wanted to be with anyone else. I do wish I had a bit more variety in my sexual experience, but not so much, so that I feel like doing anything about it. On the other hand, my friend is jealous, or says she is, that she has to keep starting new relationships from the group up because she hasn't found the one, and how it must be great to wake up in the morning next to the same person every day. My wife and I both decided to wait until marriage to have sex. Our wedding night was fantastic and exhilarating. There was a little bit of we have no idea what we are doing, but I imagine everyone feels that way their first time. That also added to the excitement for both of us. We booked a hotel room with a massive jacuzzi bathtub and spent much of our time in there. I should also mention that we had talked extensively about sex before getting married and had talked about our expectations for the wedding night. We hadn't done pretty much anything sexual together or seen each other naked though. It's just the way we wanted to do it. We wanted it to be special. We've been married for 6.5 years and our sex life is amazing. My wife regularly tells me how much she loves our sex lives and how much she loves having sex with me. Wouldn't change a thing about it. Definitely don't regret it at all. Close bracket. The morning after we were intimate the first time, I decided that I was going to make the effort required to make this relationship the one. I wanted to be able to say that my first woman was my only woman, that she was important enough to me to give up other women altogether. I was raised in a Catholic home, and school and until high school had literally zero real world experience with females. Only managed one real date with one kinda girlfriend. I attended university after community college. I got one more date. Then I moved back to my hometown, became a tire mechanic, and coasted for 2 years until I met her. After 4 years of living together, we tied the knot. I have now been with the same woman for 4.5 years. I feel regret is too strong a word for my feelings on the past. I have chosen to pursue happiness in life with this person, and I refuse to feel regret in my daily life because of this choice. Staying this course will see me never being with another woman, and that is the only thing that even comes to mind when I think of regrets. I love my wife dearly, but she is a big girl, so if everything goes according to plan then I will never seduce a fit girl. Me and my girlfriend, fiance, of 11 years broke up about 2 months ago. I've known her for 15 years, and we got together when we were 15. We are both kind of introverted, and we lived in our own bubble for most of our relationship with very limited social life. For the most of the time we were very happy, but in the end we both felt like we had not achieved the level of social understanding that we both wanted due to our relationship. We tried for a couple of years to really get out there and find friends, go to parties etc., but it never felt really right. It has so far been the most challenging part of my life, but we both agree on that this is still right decision. Do I regret our relationship? No. This might be off topic, since we never got married. I for the most part don't regret it. I waited a really long time due to self-esteem and anxiety issues. I met a girl online a few years back, and we instantly clicked. She is literally my best friend now, and I wouldn't trade her for anything in the world. That said, she doesn't have nearly the level of libido that I do. Part of it is we've had a really rough year due to external factors. Being rejected by the one and only person I've felt comfortable giving myself over to, even though I know it's not me, has still left me feeling unattractive, unwanted, and with just generally low self-esteem. So I often have brief moments of wishing I had shopped around more for someone more closer to my sexual needs, or at least waited to marry her so I could have seen her decline before I fully committed my life. So in a way part of me does regret it a little, but I just try to remember how she really is my bestest friend, and I can't help but love her when I see her despite this one aspect of the relationship. Kind of a long answer for just basically saying yes and no. That is more me just venting, and most likely no one will even read it, but you know, whatever. Me and my wife were both virgins when we did the deed together. I had had a little more sexual experience than her though. It was only a couple of weeks before my wife and I became exclusive that I was involved with another girl. She was all up for it, but I declined. because I wanted my first time to be with my now wife. I admit I regret that one moment, even if just for the opportunity to have experienced something different. Me and my wife are as happy and as tight as a couple can be though, so maybe regret is the wrong word. I certainly don't regret the choice to pick my wife over this other girl. I'd love it if you liked and subscribed.